All right, welcome back to some beautiful round three action here. I'm coupled by Human. How's it going, man?
Uh, Pretty good. I'm back. Glad to be back, and we got an exciting match for you.
So we've got the classic purple versus blue guys, and we're gonna do a little prediction this round. So if you're here in the chat, you're watching it, make sure you vote. Who's gonna take this, Kaido or Crocodile? If I'm voting, my vote's on the Croc.
I'm sorry, but I gotta say Kaido. Kaido's my man in this case.
I know we're
So
we're very
we
we're
got the
very polarized, myself and Human, on this matchup.
yeah. I mean, we're 50-50 on the split now. How about you guys? Are you guys the 50-50 on the split, or are you guys leaning towards Croc, or are you guys leaning towards Kaido?
All right, let's see how the chat goes, and let's see how this game goes. So, I've played this matchup, both sides. I've played a lot of blue, obviously, and my opinions is you hold your weenie blockers until the end of the game, and then use those as a win condition to give you tempo to let you beat your opponent.
So from my experience playing as purple Kaido here, um, you have to see the you have to see the island. If you don't see the island, you fall so far behind. Um, Other than that, if you don't see the island, you better hope you have a jack. You better hope you have the event that can let you get another active Dawn. Because you're gonna be constantly removing your own Dawn to play more cards.
So yeah, that's the thing about purple. They you do have to minus Dawn to play your most powerful cards. That's why Onigashima is just such a beautiful, beautiful stage because it lets you mitigate that negative effect of your very powerful cards. Now,
Mhm.
I'm gonna start talking about some very interesting theory, but we got the best three drops in the game in this matchup. We got Sentamaru and we got the stage. Which is better? Up to personal interpretation, but they're both very, very powerful cards. I guess my question to Human here is who's who is such a important card in this matchup because if they do have the Sentamaru and you're not able to answer it early, you're in a very tough pickle. Do we
Yes.
mulligan for the who's who?
Um, you're mulligan for the island, of course. If you don't have the island, you're mulligan for the Husu. You gotta have one or the other. If you
You
don't
got
have
to
one
have
or the
one
other,
or the other. You're not wrong. So we see Crocodile starting the match going straight up with the weenie law. Now
at, to
I
be
don't.
exact, actually, Kaido started. Crocodile plays a second.
Oh, just kidding. I'm trolling. But yes, we do see the law coming out early, and what this signifies to me is that there has to be some sort of Gecko Moria in his hand. We'll see the Jack as his turn three play.
Okay, that's huge. So he does have some kind of ramp, which is
Whoa.
exactly what you want to see.
Whoa. Wah wah wee wah. So he's gonna Jack ramp, pitching the Who's Who, and then
Ooh,
attaching the
that's
new activated Dawn to make Kaido a 6K. Now, very scary. If the Sentamaru comes out here, you might not have an answer. But you also could be expecting him to hold Sentamaru for the following turn, the 6 drop, where you play
yes.
3 for the Sentamaru, attach 1, and then tap 2 to summon the Pacifista.
Personally, I think
That's
that is the better play. Oh,
so
Pacifist right away, so he does not have a Centaur, maybe, or he's holding
he
it.
could just be holding it, which is fine. That's what makes me believe it's one of the best cards in the game because it can be deployed on an odd or it can be deployed on an even and still be almost equivalently as strong.
Yes,
So
yes.
summoning a Pacifista here, I think, is the most tempo efficient because let's say this was a Sentamaru with 1 Dawn up, we're not efficiently using our Dawn, right? That 1 Dawn, he didn't use it on the Croc. It's just going to be gone to waste. So playing the
Yep.
Pacifista here it creates more of a board presence. The only issue is the fact that he jacked last turn makes it that you're in the range of King.
Yep. Does he
So
have the
and
king?
now, does he have the king? King will just immediately answer this Pacifista, but it will also neg him a Dawn. And by doing that, you're 1 turn less or 1 turn further away from your Kaido.
But here's the thing: he already got one ramp from Jack. Oh, actually, no, he cannot king anymore. He used his one
He
Dawn.
used the Dawn. He said, no
Yeah.
more King. King is not the move here. He's going to go attach 1 to Jack. Jack's going to go ahead and swing for 5. 5 is a very interesting number because, you either block it or take. He blocks with a Jinbei in hand or counters with a Jinbei in hand. Doesn't use the law just yet. Saving that law. Very interesting. So he's going to go ahead and just take another life. Very quick start from the purple player. And purple player going ahead and paying 4 for the page 1 ulti combo. Now this is a board. This is a move that most certainly is saying, I'm going to fight for this board.
Yeah.
But it's oftentimes very difficult to know if this is truly correct. So we're going to go here, Crocodile 5K, and what I'm assuming is going to go straight into the jack. No, he has ignored the jack.
Oh, he
Went for
going into
face,
leader and he tries to counter the queen. So
countering with the queen there, and then 6. So the Pacifista will take its turn to hit the leader. No combo there, so he's going to go down to 3 as well. So the game is now even in terms of life, and he's just going to double Weevil. When I saw the 6 get tapped, I thought it was Sentamru, but very interesting.
yeah, this is very interesting indeed because right here you see both players going extremely aggressive here. They're going wide. They're going for the swings. They're ignoring the characters on board. Just says, I don't care if you have it because I'm going for face.
So, and here's the thing about the page 1 and ulti combo. Although the page 1 ulti combo did deploy 2 very big threats onto the board, you've lost 3 combo power in hand, which in a board state like this, I think Crocodile was saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just hit you in the face because now you have less cards to defend with, and I can potentially close out a game here and force you to become the one that deals with this board.
Okay,
So
and
he
there
goes
is
7K. I'm
uh,
assuming the 7K went at the Pacifista, and then it got blocked or comboed out by a Mihawk 2K. We're
yep.
going to go ulti. Ulti only can be going face. We're going to go ahead and drop here the Boa Hancock, and then Kaido at face. And this one will connect. We still
This
have
is telling
6
me.
Dawn.
This is telling me he has a king. Oh, there it is. I
Yeah,
called
he
it.
has to.
There's no reason why he would not have king here. Like get there's so much value in playing the king right here, right now. Because now he has to weevil clear. Otherwise, he's in lethal range.
Well, he's not. He doesn't really have to Weevil clear here. He can also go off of what I like to call the Flamingo Flip. The Flamingo Flip is the classic drop a Flamingo and then use the Crocodile right after just to remove pressure from the board state, while
That's
also
also true.
which can also put him in a nice spot. Flamingo removing a king is also very strong. A Sables, more blockers. There are different things that the blue player has available, and he can do so while also just hitting face, which is crazy. So what I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of the quote unquote good players do is that they'll just constantly chuck 5k, 5k, 5k at you, making sure that you're just less and less able to deal with the cards that are coming. So he's gonna 5k the face and he's gonna ulti the 5k. So over comboing by a bonus k, putting him down to 1 off of the Crocodile. And then if he's just able to get some defense off the back of a couple blockers or a Sables here, he's in a great spot.
I see. I'm seeing a flamingo play right here. He has 7 dawn right there. I see 7 active dawn.
That is 7 active Dawn. 7 Dawn is the call of the
There it is.
Flamingo, and there he is. Flamingo's just going to go ahead and come down onto the board. Most certainly going to bounce either the page 1 or the king. He goes for the page 1.
Interesting. I would go
Very
for the king
interesting.
here. I would have went for the
Personally, I
king
would go
here.
for the king.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his reasoning precisely is for the page 1, but the king having no combo power and being 1k higher just seemed like the correct call from my point of view. But Chris Sog is a good player, so he must have a reasoning behind that.
It looks like he just wants to apply pressure this way instead of losing more dawns. He wants to go for, all right, you have 1 dawn left. All I need is 2 hits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he
But
still
now,
has, he still has to hit him 3 times. He is exactly at 9 Dawn here, right? One, two,
yeah.
three, four, 6. No, he's at 8 Dawn because he minused again.
Oh yeah, he
Ooh,
did.
so he can't even big Kaido here. And this is just the unfortunate nature of when you don't open the stage and you've just minus Dawn multiple times in a game.
Yeah, the stage literally will make or break the game. Said it before, say it again.
No, the stage is undoubtedly one of the most fantastic cards in the purple deck, possibly the best card in the purple deck. But in a best of 1 format, that's what makes purple so appealing. The games that I can open these stages and just drop these big, powerful cards over and over seems like a very easy to do game plan.
Very,
And
very.
the statistics of you opening stage after mulliganing are probably pretty high. I think it's anywhere between. I think someone was calculating it. I didn't run the math, and I'm not a math major, so don't come at me here. But I heard the number 40%.
No, I think that's a little high. I think
You
it's
think that's
closer
high?
I think it's closer in the like 20s to 30s.
I mean, 20% of just.
Because no matter what, you draw your 5, but the
Mhm.
next 5 you draw, it's actually shuffled. So it's not like you draw 5, put on the bottom. It's draw 5, shuffle, then draw 5. That makes a
Mm.
big difference. Those shuffle cards, you could draw the same cards again. You never
Yeah,
know.
they can be, as you would call in statistics, fails. Those are
Yeah.
not the expected outcome that you would want. So we're going to go here and see a queen for 5. Queen's going to then minus a Don. Is going to go ahead and cycle cards that makes her, or makes the card efficient. So you're paying one card, drawing 2, and discarding a card, so it replaces itself. And we're going to go ahead and drop a big Kaido here. This big Kaido, he might not be necessary this game. He is also not combo power. So what we're going to need to do here is gain combo power because we are dying.
Yeah, he needs some blockers or bodies, something in his hand and something on board, because that queen can just get sent right back to hand.
Well, here's the problem. This queen was deployed on the flamingo or the crocodile going to 10 Dawn next turn. And what happens when a player goes to maximum Dawn capacity? They want to use their minus Dawn effects to use them as
Yep.
efficiently as possible so they can recoup the Dawn on the following turn. So
Yeah.
usually playing a queen here isn't really the best thing you want to do, right? Because you know for certain that card is getting bounced to your hand at the end of this turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, any competent player will send the queen back to the hand.
So
Because
this
he
queen,
right here, he on his turn, right?
oh, a
Um,
buggy. There's a buggy in this deck.
Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, as I
Broken.
was saying, Chris Sock right here, he could play a Teach, a Blackbeard, bounces 1 to 3, so he bounces the Jack back to hand. I mean, Jack just gonna sit there and do nothing, honestly, unless you put it on him. But like, that's a Jack back to hand. Use the 4 and bounce the Queen back to hand. That's 2 cards back to hand.
We just see him pitch a teach. So although you are correct, I am very afraid of bouncing bonus cards, right? Because
Yeah.
these are just combo power that gets added to hand at the end of the day. What I see a lot of blue players do, and this is very interesting, they'll just attach 4 Dawn to Crocodile and they'll go 9. And this 9 at you is most certainly something that you have to block and let your queen die.
Yeah.
And then they have 4 Dawn that they can then use to shuffle something else. So it's very, very tricky. A Sobbles, any sort of good use of your Dawn most certainly will mean it that the queen is getting bounced.
Yes.
So there are many
Sabo
options
would be
here.
the best. Sabo would be best. And honestly, he could play a Flamingo again. Play Flamingo,
Well,
bounce.
Flamingo here would be very bad for the purple player because Flamingo will completely answer the board,
Yeah.
as it will most certainly bounce the king, bounce the queen, and then you'll be able to use your Flamingo, your Weevil to go ahead and deal with the board. If he goes in combos out of it, then you can just go ahead and play more cards, play some more blockers. So I think the most efficient card that it could be here is actually Gecko Moria. I would love to see the Crocodile player go Gecko Moria, add back Law, -4, bounce the queen. Right?
Oh yeah, that would be amazing too.
That would be
Um,
a very good use. I think Gecko Moria, when I first started looking at this game, I didn't value that pick up a card as much as I should have because that card is unbelievably unbalanced the later the game goes. So,
yeah, being able to recycle your Law, being able to recycle your Mihawk, that's a 2K counter. That's
yeah,
a blocker.
recycling the Mihawks, and sometimes you like just recycle like these early games. You'll just play a Weevil. You'll chuck the Weevils at them. The Weevils will then die, and then you'll be like, okay, pick it back up and replay it. You can do some pretty crazy things with that. So he's gonna go ahead and swing at leader, baiting cards from hand once again. If you do take the block here with the queen, then the Flamingo just can eat the queen. So the purple player has opted once again to just combo with his hand. So we're gonna lose a jack here, which this is fine. We're down with losing a jack. Ooh, I see a tap 4. Gosh, I
Is
love when I
this
see a
is
tap
this
4.
is this Sabo the king?
Sobbles, Gecko Moria. There are just so many great options in the blue deck, and that's what makes
Really
me such a
is.
strong believer. Like, there's almost, if we look at card by card in the blue deck, it's just like, dang, each of those cards is just so powerful.
They're very combo heavy. They're very skill reliant, and
Hmm.
if you don't time your usage properly, you're just burning Dawn. You're just burning your resources.
That's the thing. When you put a Ferrari in the hands of a skilled pilot, then you can see some really great
There's the
outcomes. And there we're
Sabo.
talking about it. There's the Sobble. So Sobble's going to come down. I'm assuming this is going to go ahead and target the king.
I'm assuming the king also. I think this will hit the king, and then he's gonna burn 4 to bounce the queen.
I would agree with this.
Yes.
Going to take in a moment here to decide. You can also choose to save the burn because even though the burn is very efficient on the queen, you are losing 4 Dawn. So you will not be, if you expect the game to get another turn, which most certainly there will be another turn in this game, you might
There
want to
it
be at a
is.
higher Dawn source. So he is going to go and go into the 4/4 or the Sobbles -4. and he's going to go ahead and attack with the Flamingo. He has 2 Dawn active as the purple player, so you might see a Blast Breath be used here. As I was saying earlier, 7 sometimes is equal to 9. You might not
Yeah.
want to dump 3 cards in hand, but you're most certainly willing to lose a Dawn for it. So let's
But
see
here's
how
the
the
thing:
purple player
if
responds.
he loses a Dawn here, he puts himself down to 6, and that means next turn he cannot play his Kaido.
But he did dump the Kaido. You know what I mean? Like he might not be thinking that he needs the Kaido this game, so he will just
There's
mill 3 cards. He just opts to mill the 3, meaning that he might be saving this Dawn for a potential Kaido play, which you're totally fine with. So now you're like, okay, you blast breath me. There should be a suspended Dawn, but again, I think it's relevant. But we're gonna go ahead 9 at leader and burning his last life, meaning that hey, you got one last turn, brother. So the crocodile player here leaving 2 up, signifying a love beam. Very low card size or hand size. So he's going to go ahead and pitch here and defend as much as possible, and then most certainly bounce the board if he can the next turn
wait, he
and go
just
for
grabbed
lethal.
3 Dawns. It should be 1 less. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
That's more like it.
So that's the one thing I don't like when people are very they're shuffling their Dawn in a very difficult to tell way. It becomes like Dawn musical chairs, and you're like, do they have 8? Do they have 9? Like, so
Yeah,
you have to keep track of that very diligently, especially in online events.
that's where what Chris Sock is doing is proper. The Dawns are face down, so you know they're not active.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Try to make sure that there's a clear separation between your Dawn deck, your active Dawn, just so that you can avoid confusions and you don't have game states where you're like, oh, like you were at this or you should be at this. Because even if
Yes.
you're, you can just make mistakes. There's a lot of cards on the board in this game. There's a stage, there's active zone, there's a leader, there's a lot going on. So just try to be clean with it, I guess, is all. But so back to the game, we do have 9 Dawn active for the Kaido player. 9 Dawn is usually big Kaido turn, and blue is at 3 life. Is there a way that we can potentially win this game with the board state that we have?
I would say
With 9 active Dawn.
no.
You would say no.
I don't think.
2
Actually,
cards in hand for
let's
Chris
count.
Sock. Yeah, try to do
So
some math. That's
let's
what
do
people don't do sometimes. Take some time to think and count the numbers.
If I remember
So
correctly, Level Up Beam is plus 4,000, right?
it is plus 4,000. So you have to beat a 9 at some
Yeah.
point in time.
You had to be a 9 3 times.
Yeah. Well, not 3 times. Remember, burn a life is definitely something that we can do this game. But by burning a life, we can use our Dawn efficiently, and sometimes we don't have to beat the 9. 7 is almost always equal to 9. So if we can bait the love beam on a weird hit like a 7, then we can make sure that the other 2 are big hits plus burn, and it's
Yeah.
almost most certainly lethal. Obviously, you can get bodied by a Boa Hancock on the first check, but let's not. We're trying not to live in those universes, right?
I don't know, because they happen pretty often.
It really do be happening. So I think there is a universe where you attach 4 to Jack for 7, force the
Interesting.
beam, and then you're just like, all right. Then we'll attach another 4 to leader. We'll burn. We'll hit you for 9 because you're not gonna block this. Burn and then try to beat you with an 8. That is a potential combination of numbers that I think has a high possibility of winning this game.
Interesting.
But he has definitely not gone for this play. He has gone for a completely separate play. He's going 5 at leader, I'm assuming. It has to be lead. Regardless of where it goes, Teach says, heck no, brother. Count.
Not today. Not today. Oh, he's going 7,000?
And you always have to make sure you think of how much active Dawn they have left after play. So 1 down, he has 8 left. He's going 5k. He's gonna love beam a 5k. That's what I'm trying to get at. Sometimes even you over combo, but they're forced to just because of hand size, right? And he's doing it just to keep board or just to keep life because he knows that the burn can come, and then he has to deal with an 8 on Kaido.
Yeah.
And here's what we're talking about exactly. So he's gonna have to deal with an 8. This is most certainly like a kill, or if he's going 8, this can be on Flamingo. This is a really good number to attack at Flamingo.
This is 100% Flamingo.
Perfect.
Yes.
Very well played.
So he needs to be able to clear the Weevil if he can, and be able to survive a 13k crocodile.
So I don't think he can clear the Weevil with the Dawn that's active. He only has 5 Dawn, so King can't come down. He can't break Eo Bomber. So he's going to have to... Just kidding. Forgot about the boy that we were talking about earlier. Who's Who. Showing how efficient he is at this board state. But if he passes here, okay. So we know that the crocodile player is going to go all the way up to 8. Can you combo out of 13?
Let's
How many
see.
cards in hand?
He has to.
Yeah, I say can you combo out my play would be combo out of 13.
Yeah, it would be double blast breath plus
One,
one.
two, three. Man, if he has double blast breath, that would be such sadness.
Holy.
We know that one of the cards in his hand is king, so we know that he has a blank in hand. And yeah,
There's the 8.
Crocodile says block 13.
Does he have it?
Yeah, this is definitely a good play. If this doesn't work out, he's pretty dead. So let's see if he's rewarded for this play. This is all or nothing on the prediction points right now, guys.
Yep. Does he have it?
So this is the double breath. He
Double
goes, and
breath.
then can I show a 1K? And he has the
Does it? He
1K.
does have
And
it.
he has 2 in hand left. Man, that's wild. And one of them
Alright.
is king. So he's going to have to -4 here, I believe. Or... Yeah.
The dots need to stay on the characters, I believe. But in blue, it really
In
doesn't.
such a simplified board state where we
Yeah.
know that everything is attached to crocodile, it's okay. I'm sure
Yeah.
that it's fine. It just makes the board a little cleaner to look at. He's just trying to think here if he minuses the 4. Minusing the 4, very unfortunate.
I
But
think he has to. He doesn't have a choice.
he is forced to. The question is it the jack or is it the ulti? The ulti is just worse for his opponent to have in hand on following turns.
How many cards is in purple's hand? I believe 2
2
cards right now. So
and
you know one of them is a kid.
Yeah, one of them is a cane. One of them is mystery card.
Mystery.
But let's
And he's gonna
assume
draw
it's
1.
Yeah.
And if he has an OT, that's maximum. If he has multiple OTs, then he's just nuts. He has multiple OTs, so if he has another blast breath,
honestly, he is just
guarantees
nuts.
to win.
He has triple blast breath this game, which is just showing how powerful that card is.
Yeah. So I would just send the OT back anyway.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
But even with sending ulti back, the fact that blue is at 2 life is the scary life total versus purple, because all this is can you block, you attach 4 Dawn to who's who, 3 to Jack, so block a 7, burn you, block a 7. You have to block 3 7s and you have 1 life is basically what I'm trying to get at. With a hand size of 2, I just don't think it's reasonable, especially with no Dawn active. So it really be what it be, huh?
Yep.
I guess I was wrong. Maybe you just didn't have to go for lethal last turn as the Kaido player. I did not expect him to out combo a 13. And the who's who was also enormous, because the who's who would have made a mill card in hand.
Yep, that's 1 extra card.
Yeah, it would have been 5K at lead. You would have had to pitch a 1K, and then you would have been burned for 13, which is much more difficult. So yeah, he decides to bounce the ulti, which I'm pretty sure he's forced to. He has 2 in hand, so he's gonna have to have. Again, Boa Hancock is huge. Can I get some Boa Hancockers in the chat?
I don't know. Right here, it's not Boa Hancock. Right here is the. Oh yeah, Boa Hancock from Life.
Boa Hancock from Life would be huge. Can I get some Boa Enjoyers? So we're gonna 2 here. This is just weird Dawn usage, but respectfully, this is gonna be a 6 at lead. So he's gonna go 6 here, and then he's gonna 8 on the who's who. That's fine as well. This is kind of saying you must have an assortment of Mihawks here. He also could just take this life. You could also allow him to just take this life.
Do you take the life here, or do you?
I mean, sometimes you're forced to. If you can combo out of this, I don't think you do, because like he's trying to count what he's doing next turn. He's gonna go, even if you had the Mihawk here, now he's gonna present 8 onto the who's who. Right? Theoretically. Okay,
4,
let's see.
5, 6. I will do 1 more. 7.
Yeah.
So
I must have miscounted Dawn. He's not at 10. He's at 8, which makes this a little bit safer. So he's gonna go 7 here, and 7 here is most certainly not enough, brother.
Nowhere near enough.
Buggy.
Nowhere near enough.
The buggy. So yeah, this is why you allow them to take the life. Oh, and now burn. Go try and do it again, and this time it will work. Yeah. I was gonna say the last card had to be a fake card. So that's the thing. Funnily enough, when you don't burn them, when you don't burn blue, you actually like. By him taking the hits there, that was very well played by the crocodile player, because he just said, "Hey, I'm gonna get extra combo power. Now your burn that was such a big threat is no longer a threat. So very well played by Crocodile,
Yep.
and congratulations on that win. So
But that was really well played for by Chris there. He did exactly what he needed to do. He bounced when he needed. The only argument was I feel like he should have bounced the king one turn earlier with the flamingo.
um yeah, that was bizarre. I'll take that as my one takeaway. That was a little bizarre. I'm not sure what the reasoning was. I would actually love to ask about it, but I'm uh, excited to say that told you so. Blue was gonna take it, baby.
Uh, you know what?
um,
Purple just didn't see the island.
Purple just didn't see. You know what? That's a fair analysis. Fair analysis. But no, that was a very close game. Very well played. Then that just goes to show, even without the island, he did have the jack to like substitute the island early, but he just was never able to get to an efficient turn where you can drop a nine
Yeah,
drop Kaido. And I think nine drop Kaido is one of the make or break it's of the purple deck. That card is backbreaking. If you have one onto the board, dealing with the 10k is very, very difficult. And the fact that he had all these
yeah.
blast breaths, it's
Oh
basically
yeah,
when they leave one Dawn up and there's a Kaido suspended, you have to now go to 15, and going to 15 in blue is hard because Crocodile to get to 15 is almost all of your Dawn. It's 8